the better off those restaurants are going to be.
Okay. And does this kind of play into your whole initiative of reimbursing,
Yes,
Mavericks now?
absolutely. Yeah, and we're doing it in a lot of different ways. So number one, any of our employees who buy food, and now we encourage them to use DoorDash, that buy food from local restaurants, we'll reimburse them for that amount. We're also for the people on the front line who were giving the test out in the parking lots at the arena and around the city. We're also buying food from them and working with local restaurants for local delivery as well. We're doing things where we're loading up on some of our players and just sending them unannounced, anonymous deliveries, of tons of food that just that they'll never ever eat, just so we can buy the food from the local restaurants and tip them. So, whether it's fun, whether it's serious, we're trying to support local restaurants, trying to support DoorDash as much as we can.
Okay, and how is that kind of initiative going for y'all?
It's going well. I mean,
yeah,
people are quarantined. We're making sure our people are staying home. They're not coming in the office, and people, we're trying to encourage them to, instead of making food and staying out of the grocery stores, just dine in and help the local economy. Use DoorDash and get everything delivered. That's what they do, and so trying to support the local economy you can never do enough. But as much as we can do and as much as we can encourage, I think it's working.
Okay. And you were kind of out in front of all of this when the NBA announced the cancellation of this season. What does the community mean to you in terms of why you became so involved, why the Mavericks became so involved, the Mavs Foundation, with everything that's going on?
I mean, we've always done these things. We've always tried to do the right thing. It was just happenstance that our game happened to be played when the season shut down, and it's just happenstance that, ESPN asked me to talk about it, but these are the types of things that the foundation, Sid Marshall, our CEO, myself, we've always tried to have an impact on the community, because sports is unique. You can tell by how much we miss them now. We don't really have anything to rally around. We don't have anything to cheer for. And because we're so ingrained in the community, before all this happened, we tried to be good corporate citizens and do the right thing. And now, the community needs us more than ever. And everybody knows who we are. They understand who we are. And so it's a unique opportunity for us to use the foundation, to use our resources to help, wherever we can. And the players have been great about it too. It was Luka Doncic and Dwight Powell's idea to feed the people in the front lines and, to help pay for daycare support. So, it's a group effort. And we're proud to be partnered with DoorDash. I mean, they're doing even more than we are. And so they're not just saying, okay, only use DoorDash. They're saying, let's just support those restaurants that are struggling right now, those bars that are struggling, and give them all the support that we can. And so I was proud and excited to be part of it.
Okay. And so you have all these initiatives you've announced so far. What's coming next for the Mavs and the community?
Wherever we can. I mean, there's just all kinds of things we're trying to do. I mean, the thing about it is we're trying to be patient as well, to continue to do the things we've said that we've already offered, but recognizing we don't know how long this is going to take. It's easy for people to, not easy, but it's commendable for people to step up and say, you know what, now's the time to do something. But we're also trying to plan and say, what if this goes on 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? How can we be there then? How can we anticipate being available then and being ready to help? And so, you plan for the worst and hope for the best. And that's been our approach and will be our approach.
Okay. So kind of along those lines of how long this might potentially take, you said recently that you're hopeful that the NBA comes back in mid-May, but
that was just me speculating. That was a hope, right? I didn't say I expect. That was a hope, right? Because the one thing you can never do, you can never compromise safety of the players, the fans, the organization, and so it's always going to be safety first. But based off of what I know from all of this, it's really just a guesstimate and a hope that we can get there. And look, I don't anticipate us playing in front of fans. But even if it requires us disinfecting everybody, what was the movie with Meryl Streep where she had to be disinfected before she went in? The one about the nuclear plant? Yeah, there was a nuclear plant. Anyways, even if we have to put people in hazmat suits and and hose them down and disinfect them before playing. I think the NBA will do whatever we can once all the experts say it's okay to play in front of no fans first, because we need sports. I mean, we need things to cheer for. We need things for communities to rally around. We need things for people to get excited about. And just being able to play in front of no fans, and just streaming it and putting it on television, I think would be huge. And so whenever the experts say it's okay, and we're certain, 100% certain we can protect ourselves and everybody involved, I think we'll do our best to get out there and play. And I'm hoping that that time comes before June 1st. And so, like I said, I'm taking the under on June 1st. Okay. But it's a guess. It's not, there's no science behind it.
Sure. So have you been in contact with like Clay Jenkins or any of the people with Dallas County or the city about, what may come down the road?
Just telling them we're here to help, whatever
Okay.
they need us to do. They always come up with suggestions, and we're going to do whatever we can to help.
All right. And I saw that, you kind of took a few people in Congress to task on Twitter about their delay in, getting the bills passed.
Sure.
Think of the one the Senate passed just the other day.
Yeah, I mean, look, it took too long. There are people who can't feed themselves. They can't feed their children, and you can't play politics around that. 3 weeks ago, you could have tried to get the perfect deal, right? Before everybody was getting fired and laid off. Okay, you can negotiate. But when, the payroll, when unemployment applications are skyrocketing, and every politician knows it because they're hearing it locally and they're hearing from their constituents, the idea that you would ask for the kitchen sink and ask for, more than just getting this done is just wrong. And so but we are where we are. And I'm glad it looks like it'll get done if it hasn't been passed while we're speaking already. And then we go forward, because we're dealing with imperfect information. We're dealing with no information effectively on the everything's just best efforts and uncertainty right now. And when you're in those circumstances, there are no right decisions. There's only best efforts. And so we're going to have to be agile. We're going to have to keep on learning and hopefully be very adaptive. And if we do that as a country, then we'll be okay. If we turn into politics as usual and we're dogmatic, then we're going to have problems.
Okay. And I saw that you were trying to find some banks to help get some cash loans out and our cash advances on, the relief stimulus. Yep. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, a couple things. One, from everything we've heard from the Treasury, it's going to take 3 weeks for those direct deposits to be made into people's bank accounts. That's not survivable for people. And so on one hand, we know there's going to be hustlers and scam artists that are out there saying, you know what, sign this piece of paper that gives me everything you own effectively if you don't pay it back, and I'll give you $700 and you pay me back $1,200 when you get it. And so I wanted to get ahead of the scam artists. And so, I'm already talking to some banks, and the goal with those banks is for your depositors, whether you're a small bank or large bank, A, what their income level is effectively. Do they make under the $75K that makes them eligible? B, do they have kids or a spouse that also has an account there? C, did they get a tax refund that was direct deposited into that account? And if they did, well, then that they're eligible for this. Why don't you just give them overdraft protection right off the bat, so that up to $1,000, you won't bounce any checks. You can let them write checks for rent, for food, whatever it is, use their debit cards, the money will be there, and cover that, knowing that because they already have a direct deposit relationship with the IRS, that money is going to be there. And I want them to do it now. And that's why I tweeted about it, because it's something that a bank can do. Now, the challenge has been for 90% of the banks I've talked to, well, we got to get the policies and procedures. They're being bankers, right? And I don't blame them, but, uncertain times, emergencies require dramatic solutions. And this is where the heroes are born. And that's what I'm telling them. So that's on the individual relief side. On the small business payroll performance loans, or whatever they're called, payroll protection loans, this is going to be the first time in the history of banking where a banker is going to be able to go to a small business, I want to give you a loan to cover your payroll for the next 3 months based off your average, plus some of your utilities, plus some of your rent, plus some of your other overhead, as long as you have under 500 employees. And oh, by the way, As long as you don't fire anybody, you don't have to pay it back.
Right.
When was the last time a bank got to say, here's money to a business, you don't have to pay it back? Every single bank with half a brain should already have a program in place that the minute the legislation is passed, you already know the final drafts. Everybody's already put out the final bills. You can read it, right? The minute it's passed, you should be on the phone to every Shark Tank company, every small business with under 500 employees, every franchisee with under 500 employees, and saying, take my money, please. And that's what I'm trying to do, get these banks to say to small businesses, take my money, please. And it's shocking to me, that no one's already out there saying we're taking applications. And that's what I'm trying to get them to do.
Okay. Well, I got one more for you, and then I'll let you go for today. How's Dirk doing, and when can we expect a Dirk statue out there in front of the building?
Dirk is doing great. He's eating too much ice cream. I haven't talked to him the last couple of days, but I'm sure he's playing Mr. Dad with all the kids. And, this obviously slowed it down. The hope was to have a model ready to show the second game of this coming season when we retire in Jersey. But we'll have to see, how everything plays out.
Okay. Well, Mark, thank you so much for taking the time.
And you know what? Again, just to read, thank you to DoorDash, right? Because what they're doing and the lead they're taking on this is incredibly important, and they deserve all the credit they get and all the props I give them.
All right. Well, thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Take care.
Have a good day.
You too. Be safe.